Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to this Monday morning with Business Coach Moloy. And we have been in this series of scaling with Moloy. And today we come to the end of series part A of this scaling, and which I'm calling the turning point. The turning point is when you move from an entrepreneur to a business leader, because I believe this is the most difficult thing to do. We will keep on seeing, we will see multiple entrepreneurs coming up, but how many of them can truly convert themselves into a business leader? So today is a little different. We spoke about the founder dependency, the trust, the leadership, the decision making, the teams, the emotional side of the journey. And today is the day when I bring all of this together. There comes a point in every entrepreneur's journey when something changes. No dramatic single day, but a slow realization that the business that you build is no longer the business you started. And more importantly, the entrepreneur who built it may no longer be able to lead it to the next level. And these are hard facts to accept. We spend years becoming good entrepreneurs, selling, negotiating, surviving, hiring, firing, solving problems. We have been resourceful, we have been resilient, and we have been incredibly good at getting things done. And this is the same day, same time that the strengths start becoming and start creating new problems. At 5 employees, you don't need a communication system. You walk across the room. At 20, you can't. You need meetings, you need managers, you need structure. The business keeps changing the rules. At 10 customers, you personally know everyone's preferences. At 500, you can't own all those relationships. And I hear this constantly, Moloy, we are doing beautifully when we were smaller. Now everything seems more complicated. And of course it does. Complexity is the price of growth, and the real question is whether your organization capability grows faster than your complexity. Think of it like driving a small car on a quiet road. You feel every vibration, react instantly. Now you're flying a bus with 50 passengers. You need mirrors, rules, discipline, and other people watching things you can't. And imagine you driving in a place like Mumbai. The road conditions have changed. The traffic has become bigger. Vehicles have become bigger. And along with that, your responsibility has changed. And this is the time when this entrepreneur versus business leader conundrum comes up. An entrepreneur asks, how can I make this work? A business owner asks, how do I make this work without everything depending on me? An entrepreneur asks, how do I solve this? A business leader asks, why does this keep coming back? You can't outsource that shift. You have to get comfortable with people deciding differently than you would. And stop measuring your value by how many problems you solve. Start measuring it by how many people you create, how many capable people you create for that matter. I once asked a hands-on founder, why don't your managers take ownership? Do you allow them to? He says, of course. And what happens when when they do something that you disagree? And he paused and he says, I correct them. The question was, how often? And his answer was very, very simple and something that I've constantly heard multiple times. And he smiled and said, most of the time. He didn't realize that this correction was preventing them from taking ownership. We complain people don't make own decisions while teaching them every time that independent judgment gets corrected. Leadership isn't having people who agree with you. It's having people who can think even when their answer differs from yours. The goal isn't 20 versions of a founder. It is a 20 capable decision maker who work along with the organization's principles. We have heard this many times. What got you here won't get you there. What made your business successful, selling, relationships, energy, speed, now ask the same strength can the same strength take you to the next level? Personal selling becomes building a sales organization. Personally solving problem becomes a building a problem solving capability. Controlling everything becomes by creating clarity. Personal relationships become organization ones. Your knowledge becomes your system. Your journey becomes your culture. And that's the journey from doing to building. If you're recognizing this discomfort in yourself right now, you're not failing, you're transforming, you're becoming that butterfly. And that's often the biggest opportunity that you will ever encounter. Now, to do this, what are the four shifts that you need to take? The first being doing to designing. The entrepreneur's instinct, I need more sales. The business leader asks, how do I build a sales engine? One depends on a personal effort forever, the other creates capability. The second shift, control to clarity. Control doesn't scale, clarity does. We don't need to know everything. You need everyone to know what they're trying to achieve, who's responsible, what they can decide, and what happens when things go wrong. When clarity is high, the need for control drops. The third shift that you need to make is from answers to question. If I keep giving answers, I'm building people who need my answers. I instead start asking, what do you think? What would you recommend? What would you do if I won't hear? People struggle at first, then start thinking. Start thinking doesn't come naturally to a lot of individuals. It takes time. And the fourth shift that you need to make is building a business to building an organization. A business that can't be built around a founder, an organization can't. That's why some businesses grow fast and then collapse under their own weight. A business was built, never an organization. A simple test. If sales grow by 20%, will operations be able to handle it? If you hire 50 more people, will the culture absorb them? If you step away from first 3 months, does the business continue? If several of these answers are no, the problem isn't growth, the problem is organization readiness. There's a moment in every entrepreneur's journey when you choose keep being the person who makes everything happen or become the person who creates the organization where right things happen. The first feels safer, the second creates scale. Picture two 50 crore businesses, both hardworking, intelligent, good products. One founder is still in the center of everything, every decision, every customer, every hire. The other spent 5 years deliberately building leaders, systems, accountability. Both worth 50 crores today, not the business at all. But if both want to reach 200 crore, their journeys look completely different. So stop asking, how do I grow faster? And start asking, what must I build before I grow further? Growth without organization capability creates chaos, unhappy customers, and an exhausted founder. Try this, two columns on a page. What I do today and what I should be doing. List everything in your actual day, and you will find you're not spending enough time on what the business needs most from you. You're spending it on keeping the business moving today. The entrepreneur's biggest enemy isn't usually laziness, it's feeling important, busy all the day. This brings us to the end of something. Over these episodes, over the 14 episodes, we have looked at the uncomfortable side of growth, why it feels heavy, why founders become bottleneck, why hustle stops working, why delegation gets hard, why leadership becomes emotionally exhausting, why good people leave. But that's not the end of the problem. It's the beginning of the solution, because once you understand what's happening, you start building differently. And that's what my journey will be with all of you. Then the next season that we start next Monday, we shift from why my business is becoming more difficult to how do I build an organization that can handle growth. Systems, accountability, middle management, execution, culture, leadership, strategy, succession, building a business that can outlive you. You started this business wanting to create something: freedom, wealth, independence, an opportunity for your family, or just an opportunity nobody else saw. At some point, the business starts asking something new of yourself. First, you've taught me to survive, now teach me to grow. Then you taught me to grow, now teach me to become an organization. And eventually you built me, now make sure I continue without you. These are questions that a business is asking of you. And how many of us are listening to the questions that the business is asking of you? Put your ears on the wall or the floor and ask yourself, what is my business asking of me today? This is the journey from an entrepreneur to business leader to an institution builder. That's the real meaning of scaling. Not simply becoming bigger, but becoming capable of becoming bigger. A very famous statement by Jim Rohn. Do not expect the world to be easy, because the world is never going to become easy. Do not expect the world to become easy. Expect you to becoming better and bigger. You need to constantly, we as individuals, we as professionals, we as entrepreneurs, we need to be constantly asking ourselves, what did I learn? Where did I become better? Because the world out there is going to change very rapidly. And there was another famous saying that goes by this, by if the rate of change outside you is faster than the rate of change inside you, your demise, your death has already started. So as an entrepreneur, it is not simply becoming bigger, it is becoming capable of being bigger. And that's the journey that I will go through with you in season 2 starting next Monday. So till then, have a great week. Have a great, have a healthy week. And I shall see you on the other side with season 2 of Scaling with Business Coach Moloy.